events that it knows should trigger a repaint. So then we need to learn how to say pretty please. So if you ever need to say, pretty please, would you redraw this panel? You say the name of the panel, right? Panel name, whatever the variable is, right? The object reference, in our case, we called it panel, and you call repaint, right? You're saying to the system, hey, my panel needs to repaint. And the system says, okay, when I'm good and ready, I will pass along that thing to paint component. Probably it will be immediately. But remember also that drawing is very low priority in the system. If there's other things going on, they may be processed first. But generally, we'll see that this is immediate turnaround. When you ask for repaint, it will call paint component and off it will go. So that's how you say pretty please. I know something, and I'm telling you something about the project, right? I know something has changed that should trigger redrawing that you wouldn't know about, right? Something that I know that you don't know. Would you please repaint so that I can take advantage of that and redraw using my paint component code? The system will respond, it will call paint component, and there you go. Okay. Makes sense? That's right. And the way it's going to work in our project, this won't make sense yet because we haven't talked about the observer model. But what will happen is, remember, you have your GUI over here and you have your drawing area over here. So when the GUI has done its thing and the user has selected some new options and they said they wanted to draw, this thing has no way to know that it should redraw at that point, right? It's just sitting there. It's not minimize, maximize, change size. None of those typical triggers are in place to make paint component be called. So when you get that signal, however you get it, and you say, aha, I have a new fractal to draw, you have to say, hey, pretty please, will you repaint, which will trigger the paint component, which will trigger you to use that new data and draw the new fractal. Okay, because the signal comes from outside and it's not one of those typical signals that it would realize as a typical repaint kind of time, a typical paint component calling kind of moment. Okay. Makes sense? All right. What else? Any other questions about that? Maybe that really is number 6. Maybe we don't have any others here. I don't know. What other questions do you have about what we've done here? And I like this code because I really like seeing, like playing with when it's going to call that thing. So I thought that code was kind of fun to see that timestamp. I will throw it in here in the chat. Let's see if it's big enough to call it. Nope, it's not big enough. Okay. So I can pass that to you a different way later. So yeah, I got a lot of that cut off, didn't I? Yep. Oh, main is all that got cut off. So I'll give you a fresh main in here. Main's not exciting, but here's the whole main in the chat. Okay. All right. So what questions do you have about that whole business here? How the code works, what you need to do to set it up. If I had helper functions, for instance, if I had something that says draw a fluffy cloud, right, I would probably need to call draw fluffy cloud. And I would probably need to pass along G, because if I'm going to draw in that helper method, it's going to need that graphics reference so that it can say G dot set color to whatever the fluffy cloud color is going to be. So it's going to need that graphics reference. So if the main important thing is all of your the start to all graphics originates here, all drawing, right? All drawing must start here. And then you can call helpers if you need. All right, any questions about that? Okay. Are there any other graphics things that you want to go over? Do you, if any of you never saw things like fill oval, draw oval, fill over oval, draw rect, fill rect, draw line. There's also draw polygon. We don't need that. but all those things are certainly available to you and you can play with them. Also remember that the colors can be set in multiple ways. So if you have some other favorite color, you can say new color, and then you can provide your RGB components. Right? So you can do colors in other ways if you want. I don't know. Oh, there we are. And this is cool, super cool about IntelliJ. You notice that it actually puts the color swatch there. So you know that your oval is going to be of that. I picked a, chartreuse, I guess, out of the thin air. I picked some sort of chartreusey color. So that's kind of fun that I was shocked when I first saw that in IntelliJ. I thought, okay, somebody was having fun that day that they made up this feature, right? That's just fun and silly, but I like it. So, all right. So that's really all I want to talk about today. I don't think the slides have any other thing above that. It gives you some of those warnings that we talked about here. And so I will also paste those into the chat, and I'm sure Gary is capturing them for the Discord as we speak, but I will paste those in there so you have that list if you want for your notes. And I think I just want to stop there today. You may have more project things that you want to check in on, but I think that's a great place for us to stop. The stuff that you need for the rest of Project 6 is going to come early next week. We also have to prepare for the exam. So that will mean that on Monday, as you would expect, we will stop and prepare for that. Remember, it's going to be 2 days, same drill as before. So we would expect that on Wednesday and Thursday next week. It'll be divided into those two parts. The review sheet's already there. Day 1 is going to be linked lists. Day 2 is going to be trees so that your brain can separate those out. So please read over that review sheet before we meet on Monday. We'll spend Monday talking about that and doing any examples and going over whatever you would like. Then on Tuesday, we will talk about this interesting communication model that we're going to use here, which involves a design pattern called the observer model. And then that will be, I think, the end of what you'll need for that next project. And then you'll have a little bit of time to get that one together, a couple weeks. Okay. All right. So if you have any other questions, feel free to stay for office hours. And if you don't, then we will see you back tomorrow, hopefully, or not tomorrow. We will not see you tomorrow. We will see you Monday for test preparation time. Okay. So have a good weekend. If you need to go, then